We're going to talk about some synthesizer news that came out of Superbooth 2018 this year. Stick around. How you doing? It's Marshall. Thanks for tuning into the show. Appreciate you stopping by and checking out some comments from the Peanut Gallery. I'm going to give my 2 cents on some things that I thought that stood out at Superbooth 2018 this year. I'll have links in the description below, so if you're interested in checking out demo videos, links to the manufacturer websites, some more information about what I'm going to talk about, check the description box below for more details, please. So let's kick this off. We're going to start by talking about Spectrosonics Omnisphere 2.5 upgrade that's going to go into public beta starting next week, which is the week of May 7th, 2018. The full release is expected to be available midsummer 2018. And guess what, guys? Pricing, it's free. It's a present from Spectrosonics to all its Omnisphere 2.0 registered users. If you're not a registered user, if you buy Omnisphere 2.0, you'll get the upgrade to 2.5 for free. Let's talk about what this comes with. Now, obviously, I'm looking at their website, but this is the 2.0 version. 2.5 is not listed on here yet, but let's just talk about what is new in 2.5. 48-point modulation section. This is, I think, doubled the amount of modulation possibilities within Omnisphere. We're going from 2 layers to 4 layers. 8 LFOs per patch, 12 envelopes per patch, over 13,000 presets. Guys, you will not run out of presets if you love presets. But the coolest feature to me is the addition of hardware profiles. And this is a very novel way of controlling Omnisphere using hardware synthesizers. Basically, Spectrosonics has created a list of already out there synthesizers. For example, in the Sonicstate video, they're utilizing a Moog Voyager, a Roland System 8, some Dave Smith synthesizers, and basically you select a profile, let's say for the Moog Voyager, and Omnisphere is able to be controlled with the function knobs on that particular synth. Already kind of mapped out to where they should be based on the layout of that particular synthesizer. So it's going to be different from, say, a Moog Voyager to a System 8 because their UIs are different, so to speak. So they have created this really cool idea of using existing hardware to control their amazing soft synth. So I'm very excited about this. And since I am an Omnisphere 2.0 user, I will be upgrading as soon as possible. I don't know if I'm going to try the beta just because I've got projects that are ongoing right now that I'm using Omnisphere and I don't want to screw anything up. But absolutely, when the official release comes out, I will upgrade and I will test it out. I guess it even works on boutiques, guys. The Roland boutiques. That's freaking cool. All right, what's next? We've got Dave Smith Instruments making some waves with the Prophet X. And not X like it's your ex-wife or ex-husband, but this is kind of a cool idea here. This is a collaboration, I guess, or at least somewhat of a collaboration between Dave Smith and 8DO. 8DO is providing 150 gigabytes of onboard samples, and basically you've got a sample engine plus a synth engine. So the synth engine is 2 DCO. Everything is 8 voice in stereo mode. There's also a mono mode available where you can get up to 12 voices. 2 4-pole analog filters, and it's 2-part multi-timbral, while obviously in stereo mode, if you're in mono mode, well, then it's not multi-timbral. So this is pretty sweet. I expected that at some point you'll be able to add user samples to this, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. Let's see what we have in the spec sheet. We just kind of talked about some of this, but head over to the Dave Smith Instruments website. I've got a link in the description. Also check out the amazing Sonicstate.com video where you get to actually hear this synthesizer in action. This is a cool idea. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the V-Synth or the Nordwave, which I own both those synths, but this seems to be kind of on like the next level from those. Yeah, very interested in this. So availability, did they give me availability? I don't recall. and pricing was kind of vague between $3,500 and $4,000 roughly. We'll see what that ends up being. Here, hopefully in the near future, we'll get more details. All right, so next up, we've got IK Multimedia releasing a hardware synthesizer called the Uno Synth. This is really cool, actually. Again, this is a time in synthesizers where it's not hard to get a hold of a decent analog synthesizer hardware and start making some tunes. So this is going to cost $199, guys. Let me just zoom in on that so that we can all see it in all its humongous glory. Well, since the price is so tiny, we're going to blow it up as big as we can. That's incredible, guys. For the feature set that's on this thing, I'm going to buy one. I mean, I don't know that I'll use this synth a whole lot, but $199 for a 2-oscillator analog synth is freaking amazing. It's also got a sequencer. I'm trying to zoom back out. Yeah, so this is cool. I got some people knocking the membrane buttons. Again, guys, it's $199. Give me a break. The thing about this type interface I don't like isn't necessarily the buttons. It's that we've got 4 sets of knobs and a couple of banks to switch between. I've never liked interfaces like this very much, but again, since it is so cheap, I'm not really going to complain at all. If this was an expensive synthesizer, I'd be like, dude, seriously, put some more freaking knobs on it. What do you think you are, the M Audio Venom? Costs $600 and have a selector like this? With all of the Venom. We're going to talk about the Venom on this channel pretty soon. Anyway, so next up, let's talk about the Polyend plus Dreadbox Medusa. This is a really interesting piece of hardware as well. I know you've got a black screen because I'm dumb. There we go. This is a synthesizer plus a grid style controller here. Pretty new, pretty like creative design. I think this looks freaking cool. Let's just talk about it. So from what I can understand, it doesn't actually say any of this on the website, but based on the interview from Sonicstate, talking about roughly 3 analog oscillators, 3 digital voices. I guess one of them you can actually use wavetables as well. 5 digital LFOs, 5 digital envelopes. Then we got the 8x8 grid, 64 total, fully responsive and customizable three-dimension expressive pads, and that's exactly verbatim what it says here. So pretty cool. This thing sounded pretty cool from what I heard. The interface looks freaking dope. Price point's a little high, but it sounds like you're getting a lot of feature and functionality. Again, a lot of LFOs, a lot of envelopes. I guess I can't remember if they said what kind of modulation possibilities you have, but from what I recall, it was pretty in-depth. So 3 sequencing mode steps. Yeah. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of this. This is interesting to me. I'm going to be excited to hear some demos on the YouTube about this one. All right, next on the list. Do you guys remember this? When I got all mad at Behringer for Synth teasing us with all these clones. Well, so this is a Softpedia article that I think I mentioned a while back. And, well, this year at Superbooth, they've got the Pro 1 clone in action. Again, I've got a demo link to the Synth Anatomy video on that. You know, this one is not exciting to me. For me, it's more like if this was the ARP 2600 or the OBX, like I would be all over it. I'd be like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing. This, I don't know, I don't care. The demos didn't sound that good. It is a tool-made sample, so it's not the final release. I don't know if they're going to tweak any of the sound engine aspect of it, but it didn't sound very impressive to me. Not that it won't sound better on different demos or, you know, once it's released. So I don't know. We'll see. The jury's still out on that. Availability, they didn't really say. I think if I recall, they said sometime in 2018. Okay. So we don't know. Pricing, we don't know. So to be determined on pricing. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. And expected availability, we don't know either. We don't know, sometime 2018. All right. Also from Behringer, well, you know, since they decided they were going to clone everything Roland ever made, they did show up at Superbooth with the RD808. This is the TR808 clone. Here is that Sonicstate video that everyone needs to go watch immediately. This thing looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It, in all intents and purposes, is amazing. I don't know how much it's going to cost yet, but according to the gentleman in the video, this should be available August 2018. Again, pricing is a big fat question mark. If this is cheap, I will buy my third TR808 clone. Yeah, so I know some people are getting tired of these clones, but that thing is pretty. And you know, the sad thing is that this is what Roland should have done instead of the TR8. This is exactly what they should have done. And I am a Roland fanboy, don't get me wrong. I love my Roland synths. I have more Roland products than probably any other manufacturer in the studio. But when it comes to their vintage gear that we've all been asking, Roland, can you please re-release some of these things so that we're not paying outrageous prices for vintage gear that's gonna break? Yeah, so Behringer's kind of swooping in and covering that aspect of the market. And I you know, as much as I love Roland, that's kind of what happens. So yeah, let's talk about the Dreadbox Erebus 3. Now this is the Dreadbox website. This is the version 2, but the version 3 was at Superbooth. This is not a synth that I am particularly really in love with or care about too much, but I thought it was interesting. 4.99 euros, available July 2018. So you have that. I don't know. I think I need to get my hands on some of these Erebus Dreadbox synths and just see what I think, because I don't know. From everything I've heard on them, I'm just like, I'm just not a huge fan. Not that they're bad, and the price point's actually not bad either. But they've kind of not really been in my wheelhouse. Say it like that. All right, so that's all the Superbooth news I kind of wanted to talk about. So one final topic is unrelated to Superbooth, but it is synth related, and this is the SEO2 editor, which has been released by Studio Electronics. The SEO2 is freaking awesome. I love mine. But there is now an official editor that is available. This is approved by Roland, or Roland approved and supported editor, as it says here in the highlights. So this is pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's got a little bit of a price here. Standalone $4.99. I guess that's the basic. Then you've got basically an enhanced version for $12.99, which includes Patch Bender and MIDI Learn / random patch generator. So there's also tutorial videos on here. This is cool that you don't see tutorial videos on manufacturer websites too often, and I know probably because it's expensive to produce them and time consuming, etc., etc. But thank you, Studio Electronics, for putting these on here. This is something I'm going to get and just try out. I don't think that the SEO2, it's got such a wonderful interface, other than maybe the knobs are small, and I've heard people complain about that, but I can get in there and use it. I don't necessarily know that an editor is really necessary, other than maybe to back up some patches. You know, but that's just me. But I'm still going to get it because it's cheap, and we'll see if it improves my workflow with the SEO2. So that's all I wanted to talk about here, folks. If you stuck around this long, thank you very much. If you like what I do, maybe check out the channel. I've got a lot of other content on here going various things, synth demos, how-tos, tutorials, live studio sessions, etc. Streaming live every Sunday here for the next few weeks. So if you're interested in checking out how I work, I guess, check that out Sunday night around 10 p.m. Mountain Time in the USA. So thanks again, guys. I'm Marshall. Appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.